Namaskar, you are welcome in this class for class 12th. The chapter is limit. In the last class we have discussed the method as named by x tends to infinitive method, and in this class we will study about the next method, and this method is the most important method, that is named as DL hospital niyam. Rule. DL hospital rule. Hospital rule. This method is very easy to apply in every type of the limit. But you should remember one thing, that in the given limit we have the form as described as indeterminate form in terms of 0.04. We can say for this method we have the indeterminate form of either 0.0 or infinitive upon infinitive. If we have not, and this is the most important part of this method, 0.04. If we have another type of limits as indeterminate form in terms of infinitive minus infinitive, 0 into infinitive, 1 to power infinitive, infinitive to power 0, and 0 to power 0. First we have to convert all the remaining indeterminate form in these indeterminate form. If we have another indeterminate form then first convert all the remaining forms into 0.0 or infinitive upon infinitive, and this is the most important part of this method. 0.04 means this is the basic fundamental indeterminate form need for DL hospital rule. Then first we have to convert all the limits into 0.04. This is the essential condition to apply this rule. We can say it means 0.0 form is the essential condition for DL hospital rule. We have to remember. Now we have to learn that how this method will work. Okay, then working condition, we can say how this method will work. Okay, as I have told you that this method is very basic or very easy method to apply on every type of limits, to find the limits if we have any indeterminate form. But for applying this method, first we have to know about differentiation, and as we know in this chapter we are not discussing differentiation, we are only studying limit, and this method you can apply after a study of differentiation. Okay, but we have to explain. If this method is given in this chapter limit, then we have to discuss. Okay, first you have to remember, if you have learnt the differentiation of a function, then you can easily differentiate any function, and you can directly apply the differentiation of any function inside the limit. And if we want to apply this method, then we have to first discuss about differentiation. In this chapter we have no need, we are not going to study about differentiation. We are only discussing this method by using differentiation method. This method, DL Hospital rule, is based on differentiation. We have to remember. Then we have to find the differentiation of any function, then we will apply this method. Okay, then okay, I am telling you some basic differentiation of some basic functions as differentiation of some basic functions. Okay, as we have to differentiate sin x. Okay, first we are going to differentiation. As we have to remember, differentiation is given as d by dx of x, and it is given as 1. Another part, we have to differentiate d by dx of a to power x, that is given as a to power x into log e of a. Okay, and in the next part we have d by dx of e to power x, that is given as e to power x. Next part, d by dx of log x, and that is given as 1 upon x. In the next part we have d by dx of sin x, that can be given as cos x. Okay, in the next part, d by dx of cos x, and that can be given as minus sin x. In next part we have d by dx of tan x, and that can be given as sec square x. Okay, next part we will discuss later, but we are going to define this method by using these some basic differentiation of some basic functions. Okay, then first we have to think about indeterminate form. As I am telling you that the indeterminate form, the most important indeterminate form for this method is 0.0 form. If we have 0.0 form, then there is no need to change any form. But if we have another form, then first we have to convert another form into 0.0 form. Okay, this is the basic fundamental of this method. Second thing, we have to remember that for using this method we have to differentiate any function given in the limit chapter. Okay, in the next part we have to remember that how we will differentiate the function for use of this method. As we have to understand that indeterminate form 0.0 is obtained in terms of rational type. Okay, and rational means p upon q, it means numerator upon denominator. Then both parts are equal just because of applying the limit. Okay, second thing, we have to remember how we will differentiate the given functions if we have the function in terms of rational function. Then first I am going to tell you how this method will work. DL Hospital rule. If any function is given in terms of limit x tends to suppose a, and here the given function is given as fx upon gx, and suppose by applying substitution method we are getting 0.0 form. Suppose we are getting 0.0 form by substitution method. Okay, then how this method will work? Then by using DL Hospital rule. Okay, the method is given as we have to differentiate. How we will differentiate? We have to differentiate we have to differentiate numerator separately, and again d by dx of gx again. The both are separate, both are differentiated separately. You have to remember the condition. This is the method. This is the basic rule of DL hospital rule. Okay. If we want to explain this method by taking an example, as I am taking one example, limit, the very basic example taken as limit x tends to 0, and here I am writing x upon x. As we know, this is the standard limit, and the value of standard limit is equal to 1. As we are going to find, as we are going to prove that this limit will be equal to 1, as we know, then by using, first think about substitution method. As we can see, by using substitution method, we have 0.0 form. It means substitution method is not working here. Again, we have to think about another method. As we can see, this is the basic standard limit. Then we can explain by expansion method. But here I am telling about DL hospital rule. How DL hospital rule will work on this type of limits. As we have to think about 0.0 form, because this is the basic rule for DL hospital rule. Okay. As here 0.0 form obtained from substitution method, it means we can use DL hospital rule. And what is DL hospital rule? See here, we have to differentiate. How we will differentiate? First we have to differentiate the numerator part. It means we can write d by dx of sin x, and that is divided by d by dx of cos x, as we have written. Then in the next part we have to apply the differentiation of the function. What is the differentiation of sin x? As I have earlier told you that you have to remember at least some basic fundamental differentiation, and we have differentiation of sin x is given as cos x, and that is divided by what is differentiation of x, that is equal to 1. Okay, we have to remember d by dx of sin x and is equal to cos x, and in the next part d by dx of x is equal to 1. Okay, we have applied DL hospital method. Now again, if we have eliminated independent form, then again we will use substitution method. As you can see, x is tending to 0. It means if we use substitution method, then cos 0 is equal to 1, 1 by 1 is equal to 1, as we know is the desired limit value. Okay. Next example, if I want to take, then we can take as, suppose we are going to find the limit x tends to 0. Here I am taking the function as log e of 1 plus x, that is divided by x. And as we know, what is the necessary limit obtained from expansion method? We know this is the basic standard limit, and we have the value is equal to 1. But how we will use DL hospital rule? Okay, first think, what is the indeterminate form obtained by substitution method? As we have substituted 0 in place of x, then we will have log e of 1 plus 0. It means log 1, and log 1 is equal to 0. We have to remember log e of 1 is equal to 0, and upon 0 it means 0 upon 0 form. We have 0 upon 0 form, and if you have 0 upon 0 form, then you can use DL by DL hospital rule. And what is DL hospital rule tells us? It tells limit x tends to 0. First we have to differentiate log. And what is the differentiation of log? It is 1 upon 1 plus x. And what is the differentiation of 1 plus x? It is equal to 1, and that is divided by, first we have differentiated numerator part, again we have to differentiate the denominator part, and what is the differentiation of x? That is equal to 1. Okay, in the next part we have to apply limit x tends to 0. In this we have 1 upon 1 plus x. Again, if we have eliminated independent form, then again we will use substitution method. As you can see, 1 upon 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. Okay, think about DL hospital method. Is it easy or tough? As you can see, it is very easy method. But first we have to know how we can differentiate the given function. Okay. Another question we can take. Example, if I am going to take as example limit x tends to 0, and here I am taking as e to power x minus 1 upon x. Again you can see here 0.0 form we have, then we can apply DL hospital method. DL hospital method. And what is the DL hospital method? That we have to differentiate the given functions, as we can differentiate limit x tends to 0. First we have to think about the differentiation of e to power x. And what is the differentiation of e to power x? That is e to power x. You should remember. Minus, what is the differentiation of 1? That is equal to 0. As we have to know, the differentiation of any kind of constant value is equal to 0. And what is the differentiation of x? That is equal to 1, as we have discussed. In the next part, we can say limit x tends to 0. Here the function is obtained in terms of e to power x. And again we have to use substitution method, and if we are applying substitution method, then we are getting is equal to 1. E to power 0 is equal to 1. That is the desired limit value. The next example, if we want to take limit x tends to 0, and here I am taking as the example as a to power x minus 1, and that is divided by x. Okay. First think about substitution method, and we are getting 0.0 as indefinite form by using substitution method. It means we have 0 upon 0 form. Okay. Then by DL hospital rule. By DL hospital rule, as we can say, we have to differentiate the given function limit x tends to 0. And what is the differentiation of a to power x? We have to remember as a to power x into log e of a. Okay. And what is the differentiation of 1? That is equal to 0, because the constant. And the next differentiation of x, that is equal to 1. Then we have to substitute the value as given as x tends to 0. If we are applying x tends to 0, it means a to power 0, that is equal to 1, and 1 into log e of a, that is the desired value. Okay. Again, if we are taking another example, then we can explain as next example as taken as limit x tends to 0, and the function is given as sin x upon, okay, I am writing as sin x upon a to power x minus 1. Suppose I am taking the example as given as. First we have to think about substitution method. As you can see here 0.0 form again obtained. That's why we cannot use substitution method, then we have to use another method. As we are discussing 0.0 form and the related method is DL hospital method, then we can use DL hospital method. DL hospital method. And what this method tells us? It tells that we have to differentiate the given function. And what is the differentiation of sin x? As we know, the differentiation of sin x is equal to cos x. And what is the differentiation of a to power x? That is given as a to power x into log e of a. And what is the differentiation of 1? That is equal to 0. It means we have the given function as in terms of this. Now we will again apply substitution method. As you can see here, if I am applying substitution method, then we will have cos 0, that is divided by a to power 0 into log e of a, and that we can say cos 0 equal to 1. The value of cos 0 is equal to 1, that is divided by a to power 0 is equal to 1, and we have log e of a, and we can say 1 upon log e of a. And if we want to apply another logarithmic property, then we can write as log a of e, as we can again write this we will discuss later, but you have to remember this thing. Okay, in the next part, if we want to apply, if we want to take another example, then we have example, limit x tends to 0, and here I am taking the function as a to power x minus cos x, and again we can write as 10x, and that is divided by, I am taking here the function as sin x. Okay, I have taken an example, another example, then we have to explain how this method will work. Okay, then first think about the method. What the most common method is used as substitution method, and we have by using substitution method we have 0 upon 0 upon. How? Then you can apply a to power 0, that is equal to 1, cos 0, that is equal to 1, 1 minus 1 0, plus tan 0 is equal to 0, and sin 0, that is equal to 0. It means we have 0 upon 0 form. Okay, so we have to apply another method to solve this limit, and if you are seeing here, you have 0 upon 0 form obtained. That's why you can use D'Hospital rule. And what is the D'Hospital rule? That you have to differentiate both the part, numerator and denominator, separately. Okay, then I am going to use D'Hospital rule. And if I am applying D'Hospital rule, then I can say limit x tends to 0. First we have to differentiate the given functions. And what is the differentiation of a to power x? That we know the differentiation of a to power x is equal to log a to power x into log e of a. Okay. Next part, we have to differentiate cos x, and the differentiation of cos x is equal to minus sin x. It means we have minus minus plus sin x. Again, the remaining part, we have differentiation of tan x, and as I have told you, the differentiation of tan x is equal to sec square x, and that is divided by, what is the differentiation of sin x? That is equal to cos x. As we have applied D'Hospital rule, then again, if we have eliminated any indefinite form, then again we have to use substitution method. And by using substitution method, we have, what is the value? Substituted value, as we have to substitute x tends to 0. It means we have a to power 0 into log e of a plus sin 0 and plus sec square 0, and that is divided by cos 0. And we can see a to power 0 is equal to 1, and it means we have log e of a plus, what is the value of sin 0? That is equal to 0. And what is the value of sec 0? That is equal to 1, and that is divided by 1. It means we have 1 plus log e of a. Any type of limit we can solve by using this method, D'Hospital method, but first we have to remember that the form, then that an indeterminate form in this type of method we have to obtain in terms of 0 upon 0 form. Okay, this is the basic, we can say, fundamental condition of this method. Okay, today we have discussed the method, D'Hospital method. Okay, and we have discussed this method by taking more examples. Then, okay, we have discussed the complete methods of calculating the limits. As first method is substitution method, second method is factorization method, third method is rationalization or double rationalization method, fourth method is expansion method, fifth method is one method discussed the simplification method now. Okay, tomorrow we will discuss the simplification method. But the remaining all methods we have discussed, and I hope you have understood what is the what we can say, what is the need of these methods, how we can use these methods, and why we are using these methods, because we have to find the limits of any function if we are getting any in different form or again by using substitution method. Okay, then I hope you are understanding all the things as I am explaining to you, and I hope you are also continue with your study at your home, because lockdown is going up to 31st May. Okay, I hope and I wish all the best for your study, and tomorrow we will discuss simplification method. Thank you.